Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bria, and I am just a girl here on YouTube who is here to talk about all things emotional health and wellness, and basically just having overarching philosophical conversations about how to take care of ourselves and how to just care for ourselves. So I want to start off today talking about really just having a quick chat about protection, okay? I feel like we don't talk about protecting ourselves enough. This goes hand in hand with boundaries, setting up boundaries. It goes hand in hand with self-care, basically hygiene, it anything relational as well. That is all, going in hand with protecting ourselves. um but when we talk about boundaries and we talk about, the starting point, like setting boundaries, and we talk about, taking care of ourselves, that is just the beginning. The second part of that is reinforcing what you set up for yourself. So that is my main focus right now at this point in my life, and also for this video. This is the next step on our journey, to talk about protection. So what does that look like, and what did it look like in the past for you? Well, for me, protecting myself in the past looked like shutting down. It looked like nonverbal communication, and also just unsure communication. So, you know, I might set a boundary, but then I might waver on that boundary with people, right? And also second guessing myself when it comes to reinforcing that boundary. Like, so when you set up a boundary, for example, of like, I, don't do anything on Sundays. That is my time for me. I have my self care. Or even on a holiday, like for the moms out there, like Mother's Day, if you have a thing where you don't want to be bothered on Mother's Day, and that is your thing, but then you are in a situation, and people know that, right? And and your family and your friends and everybody knows that, and you've made that known. Um, and someone knowingly crosses that boundary and has an event or has a whole family gathering or something like that, and pressures you on it and tries to make you feel bad about it. That is the harder part of setting a boundary, and nobody really talks about that. Like, setting boundaries is very easy, but reinforcing those boundaries is the hard part. um and another example of this could be like in a work setting where, you know, the power dynamic is off kilter. So you can set a boundary and say, hey, I don't want to work overtime. I don't want to work on the weekends. That is not my thing. You can't tell them not to ask you, but you can make it known that this is something for my lifestyle and the way that I want to have a work-life balance. That's not something that I'm interested in. Okay. But they can continuously cross those boundaries, and ask and request, and and then you yourself might become more lenient. For me, that is a thing that I have wavered on in the past, where that exact thing, saying, hey, this is what I'm not willing to do, and then I end up doing it just because the pressure's there, the power dynamic is there, you're scared. um, you're just scared. And that is something that does make you waver on your boundaries and make you less protective of yourself, is when you're coming from a place of fear. So when we're in spaces where we have a clear boundary set for ourselves that has been communicated with others, um, but those things are crossed, right? So basically, the external thing or person that is crossing those boundaries is basically testing you, right? So when you waver on that, it's in your mind, you feel like you're failing a test. So in your mind, you feel like you need to go back to the drawing board and almost second guess yourself. But that's where protectiveness needs to come in, and confidence also needs to come in, to remind yourself of why you set those boundaries in the first place, why it's so important to you. And why you need to reinforce that. Maybe that's recommunicating. If it's something that's happening over and over again, then it's a huge bigger issue at that point. Then you have to reevaluate everything and say, hey, if these boundaries are continuously being crossed, maybe I need to take more action and either step away from that relationship, that job, that, take a step away from those family gatherings, just whatever it is that you need to do to protect yourself and to basically reinforce your boundaries with those people, and really the systems, because I feel like there's a lot of systems out here that try and test us and try and test our own protectiveness for ourselves, but you have to know what lines that can't be crossed with you. You have to be protective of yourself. I know, especially for Black women, we are, wanting to be protected. We want, and we do have that. For the, hopefully for everyone, we have that. But I feel like you have to have it for yourself first before you can even accept protection from someone else in a healthy way. So if you know already how to be strong for yourself and how to advocate for yourself and protect yourself, then that is something that you will attract from other people, and you won't always have to be so protective. And also, if you do come from a place where you're always protective of yourself, you are creating an environment that is safe for you, that will already be reinforced that you are safe and that you are protected. And you just want to lean into that energy more this year, especially, because there's so many external things that are going on you can't control. There is a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of trying to stir up emotions in people right now. And I think that the best thing that you can do for yourself is reinforce your protectiveness of yourself, what you will tolerate, what you won't. And see, even as I said that, I'm sitting up more straight because it does build confidence to know that yes, I'm always going to stand up for myself. I'm always going to protect myself. I'm always going to stand 10 toes in what I said, what boundary I set. And if that is crossed, then we have to make some decisions. So that is something that I really wanted to talk about today. Happy Sunday to everyone. And I hope you have a beautiful week going ahead. We will definitely be talking more topics just like this. And yeah, there's just more to come. So stay tuned. All right. Thank you. Bye, y'all.